If you don't already know, more and more Trump voters are experiencing something. They're experiencing voters' remorse. They now regret having voted for Donald Trump. Hi, I'm David Tomsic, and Merry Christmas to you on this December 18th, 2024. That's right, folks. You heard it here on the Tomsic Analysis. Voters' remorse. Now, you can go on the internet and find many of these videos. People flat out saying they regret voting for him. They didn't know what they were doing. They made a mistake. Now, having been a researcher and analyst, I knew this was a bad idea for anybody who told me they were going to vote for Donald Trump. But there's excuses out there. There's reasons, that the defense mechanism pops into gear. Now, the way I look at it is they really were up against an expert at creating a narrative, an expert liar, an expert at finding someone for you to dislike, because Donald Trump dislikes everybody. And of course, we should have known that during the election. He made fun of everybody, even people within his own crowds that attended his rallies. But I digress. Shame on you. Now, I happen to have had some contact with many Trump supporters and voters. Quite a few of them, although most of them did not tell me that they voted for Donald Trump. Many of them kind of alluded to the fact after I talked to them. And what I did was open up with a barrage of attacks on his policies, his behavior, and a lot of the things that I knew were traits I didn't want in a president. And they agreed all of a sudden, yeah. But when it came down to it, they recognized something. Oh, wait a minute. I voted for him. What did I do? And there that defense mechanism went into full gear. Boom, the shields went up. And they started making the excuses. Well, the economy, inflation, she's stupid. That was pretty much it for the most part. There were some other minor problems they had with Kamala Harris, but these are some of the top things. She was a horrible vice president. Was she? Listen, have you noticed any vice president to be great? The whole idea behind being a vice president is to do nothing and just don't get your boss, the president, in trouble. And that's what she did to a T. She wasn't really in charge of the border or the economy or anything else. They didn't go to her and say, "What's your opinion, Kamala?" No, they don't do that. That's the problem of the president and his advisors, and in this case, Donald Trump's advisors, who are pretty much losers all the way through. So this was the excuse. I'm going to attack some of these. I'm going to say attack. I don't believe Kamala Harris was stupid. First of all, these people who said this to me don't even know her. This is what makes me laugh at them. And I'm sorry. I laughed when I was done at them. Not in front of them. I would not make them feel bad. But I laughed at them. Because once again, we're showing how our system works. How one person can just say something and have it repeated by media, by sound bites, all the narrative that attacks somebody, and it sticks, just like Goebbels did in Nazi Germany. He said, if you say it enough, people will believe it. And that's what they did. They didn't know Kamala Harris. From my understanding, from things I've read, and I actually went back and read something, unlike most of these people, she actually is a pretty intelligent woman. And I give her credit. Kudos. Kudos for a woman to get to that position where she could have been the president of the United States. I have no problem saying that. And I digress. So she was stupid. She was responsible for the border and inflation. And all these problems was because of Kamala Harris. You see, it was easy to attack somebody. Joe Biden was no longer running. So you have to just attach the things you would have said about him to her. But let me correct some of this. Kamala Harris nor Joe Biden had anything to do with the inflation that Donald Trump created in his administration. 8+%. When he left office, it was 8+%. The king of debt now spent just about every president in history in 4 years. He calls himself the king of debt, And as far as, her being a poor vice president again, what was Mike Pence? He ended up being Donald Trump's enemy at the end here because he refused to disobey Donald Trump and not sign the certification. Okay? Well, that's what started the insurrection. But I digress there as well. So here's what people wanted. The people who voted for Trump, they had various issues. Mainly the price of eggs. Let's just use it. Now remember, Donald Trump discovered a word that he now uses and everybody's going to use. He's a trendsetter. Grocery. He's amazed at the word grocery. He said he won the election. He quoted himself, won the election on the word grocery. He was going to reduce grocery prices, which now all of a sudden he can't, which I knew months ago. And I have told people this. It's not like I'm a guy that fell off a banana wagon. I understand these things. Economics is one of my big things. They would not listen to me because I'm just that guy. I'm a guy. What does he know? These people know better. Donald Trump knows better. Can't even find Russia on the map, let alone run the country. But I digress. So I told people how the economy worked. I told people I had to revise my numbers about the Biden administration. But it was easier for them to believe that this was all Kamala's fault now, but not Donald Trump's fault from his first 4 years of stumbling through his presidency. Stumbling through. It's a disaster. No one believed it. Gas was so cheap. Again, gas. Let's go down that road. Drill, baby, drill. Well, let's be honest. Gas was cheap in his administration, or during his administration, because gas prices around the world were cheap. There was an influx of fuel. The economies had been shut down due to COVID. Manufacturing was shut down. Travel was shut down. Prices fell, not because of any drilling Donald Trump did. The pipeline, millions of jobs. You know what? I'd rather have my environment safe than have people saying, well, we're going to have 5,000 jobs for 2 years. Listen, if that's what you're going after, that's fine. I understand people want jobs, but not at the cost of the rest of us. And that's the same with drilling offshore. That's the same with fracking. I live in a fracking area where streams have been damaged. People's well water has been damaged and poisoned. No one wants to talk about it because it's going to reduce our gas prices. It didn't, and it won't. Everything they do to drill for more oil will go to put more money in their pockets, not yours. And it'll affect your gas prices very little in the end. And you want to sell your soul for 30 cents on the gallon? You do it. I digress. So what were some of the other things that Republicans and these so-called now Trump remorseful voters voted for? Well, a lot of the Christians and the right-wing people were voting on cultural issues. Okay, so they sold their soul for cultural issues that they should be dealing with on their own, in their own home. But instead, they're going to blame the government. They're going to blame Joe Biden. They're going to blame Kamala Harris. Go to your house, and you have children, teach them what they need to know so that you don't have to worry about cultural issues. Well, it's easier said than done. People don't even try. I know people with kids. They don't even try. Their kids aren't talked to about any of the things that they're so concerned about. Transgender, homosexuality, abortion. These kids can't even spell it because no one's talking to them at home. They're allowing the school districts, they're allowing everybody else to influence their kids. It's the parent that has to influence the child. They're not letting us. No, they're letting you. You're just too lazy to do it. Too stuck in the football game or the soccer game. I digress. Okay, so what happened here? Well-meaning people did vote for Donald Trump. And I don't mean to be harsh, although it sounds like I am. You see, I believe that people always vote for those things that are least important sometimes. They don't know what's important because they don't see all the issues. They can't see the three-dimensional picture. As I mentioned, many Christians, all cultural issues, many people on inflation. Inflation is down to like 3.5%. So it isn't as if it isn't down. There are many issues affecting, as Donald Trump found out when he learned about groceries, affecting grocery prices. And it has little to do with the president many times, if not most of the time. The president has very little power in certain things, although under the Trump administration, it could be that the president has all the power. But I digress there too. See, a good snake oil salesman, like Donald Trump is, has a way to close a deal, even in spite of a robust objection from a buyer. Even those people that said, yeah, maybe I should think about this, were overwhelmed with, he's going to be great. He wants to make America great again. He's for you. He's for the little people. And if you believe that, I got some snake oil to sell you. It'll cure everything you have. So we overlooked, as a country, collectively, we overlooked the problems Trump had that overwhelmingly were larger than anything and any of the reasons people didn't vote for Kamala Harris. The problems with Trump were 100 times more serious than anything she could have did or couldn't do. Okay? How about this? Let me go down this. Trump, under his administration, you're going to end up creating a police state. He's going to gather unto himself unlimited presidential powers. He's threatening to eliminate safety nets for the poorest and most vulnerable Americans. He wants to eliminate the 14th Amendment so he can deport anybody who disagrees with him, including somebody that was born in America, like me. He's threatening nearly every country in the world with tariffs, threatening to use the Attorney General to prosecute anyone who opposes him or opposed him in the 2020 election. He wants to jail the January 6th committee because they were against him. He wants to deregulate the banking laws. He wants to get rid of environmental laws. And basically, you're looking at a guy who thinks he should have unlimited power because he deserves it, because only he knows what's best for America. This is only a partial list. This doesn't tell you the truth, that under this guy's administration, we're going to move farther and farther to the right, farther and farther towards fascism. While everybody's talking about communism day and night, it's fascism you got to worry about. It's already here in many ways. You can't tell me that his two new boys, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the two billionaire idiots, aren't going to cause issues for the American people. They're just waiting to cut jobs. They're waiting to destroy the federal government. They're waiting for these restrictions on drilling. They're waiting for restrictions on environmental issues to be taken down so they can take advantage of it, so they can all make more money. See, the billionaires and oligarchs run it, and in his administration, they're going to be at the top of the food chain. You and me, we're just an afterthought. We're someone to step over on the way to more money. And those of you that voted for Donald Trump, you're going to find that out the hard way. Those of you that have not yet had voter's remorse will eventually have it. So for all of you that voted, all of you that are going to lead us down that path, thank you so much from the Tom Psychanalysis. It's all the time I have. Remember, Jesus is the reason for this season. God bless you. And I'll see you next time right here on the Tom Psychanalysis.
Thank you for watching the Tom Psychanalysis. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video, and keep an eye out for our next video.